Is Kyle Lowry a top 5 point guard in the NBA? After hearing me read this question, I can guarantee that many of you are thinking, hell no. But if you dive into the numbers, then you'll be able to see that this is a question worth asking. And that's exactly what we're about to do. Kyle Lowry had an absolutely great season last year. In the 2016-2017 season, Kyle Lowry put up numbers of 22.4 points, 7 assists, and 4.8 rebounds. Those are not only all-star level numbers, but potentially all-NBA. And if he was able to play enough games last year, he only played 60, definitely potentially even MVP level numbers. Now, this might sound ridiculous to you, but if we look at the players that were able to average at least 22.4 points, 7 assists, and 4.8 rebounds last season, there's only 4 players on that list. LeBron James, who finished 4th in MVP voting and is still the best player in the league. James Harden, who finished 2nd in MVP voting. And Russell Westbrook, who averaged a triple-double and was the MVP. And the last name on that list is Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry isn't that group of 4 people, yet no one seems to even mention him amongst those names. Now, I know what you're thinking. To be a top 5 point guard in the NBA, you have to do it more than one season. So let's take the last 3 seasons. Over the last 3 seasons, Kyle Lowry was able to make 3 All-Star games and also an All-NBA team. Also, if you look at the last 3 seasons and have players that have a minimum of 20.4 points, 6.7 assists, and 4.7 rebounds, there's only 5 players on that list. Steph Curry, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, and Kyle Lowry. I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty good company to be in. Yet, Kyle Lowry is not even mentioned amongst any of these names in any NBA discussion. And I think that is absolutely ludicrous. Not only that Kyle Lowry can put up these great points, assists, and rebound numbers, but he's consistently amongst the top 10 in steals and also is a great defender that is consistently even the top 10 in charges taken and is a complete pit bull on the court, as I've seen him go head to head against LeBron James. Now keep that in mind. Kyle Lowry is a 6'1", and isn't scared of guarding LeBron James on the court. Now, I think there's 2 main reasons why Kyle Lowry isn't mentioned amongst these names in terms of discussion of best players in the league. One of them being is that he plays for the Toronto Raptors, and that team is unfortunately in Canada and doesn't receive as much media coverage as teams in America do. Also, Kyle Lowry has consistently underperformed in the playoffs over the last few seasons. Now, I'm a Raptor fan. It definitely hurts watching him do that in the playoffs, and he should definitely be held accountable for that, and it should be a blemish on his resume. However, it shouldn't be such a big of a blemish that it takes him out of the conversation completely. So, going back to the title of the video, is Kyle Lowry a top 5 point guard in the NBA? I think I've said enough stats to tell you that he should definitely be in that discussion. But in order to determine that, I'd like to do it through a process of elimination. Now, I'd like to say the point guards that I believe are currently better than Kyle Lowry, and if he makes the cut for the top 5. The first point guard that I do believe is better than Kyle Lowry is Steph Curry. 2-time MVP, 2-time champ, absolutely incredible shooter, and is just an overall weapon. Russell Westbrook, the NBA's reigning MVP, I do believe he's ahead of him on that list. CP3, absolute great floor general, now moves to the Houston Rockets, so I think that takes James Harden out of the point guard discussion as he moves over to shooting guard. So that's 3 point guards I believe are better. The other point guards that I believe are better than Kyle Lowry are his 2 compatriots in the Eastern Conference, Kyrie Irving and John Wall. I was utterly impressed by John Wall last season. He put up absolute great numbers and was able to lead the Washington Wizards to a Game 7 of the second round of the playoffs. And he's an overall stud. I think he just has a bit more explosiveness and more playmaking ability that just elevates him above Kyle Lowry. And he also is a great defender that Kyle Lowry and John Wall kind of cancel out on that side of the court. So I just think John Wall's quickness, his playmaking ability elevates him a bit higher than him. And another player I'd like to mention that is above Kyle Lowry is Kyrie Irving. Before the finals or even before the playoffs, I had Kyle Lowry ahead of Kyrie Irving, but after seeing Kyrie consistently finish, such a great finisher at the rim, I see so many players talk that they believe Kyrie Irving is the hardest player to guard in the NBA. So I can't ignore that. He's such a great offensive talent that even though Kyle Lowry is better on the defensive end, I have to give Kyrie Irving the edge. But besides that, I don't think there are any more point guards that are better than Kyle Lowry. So I believe Kyle Lowry just misses the cut and is the 6th best point guard in the NBA. Just outside. I believe he is better than the likes of Damian Lillard, who is a great scorer, but isn't as good of a scorer as Kyrie, and isn't that good of a defender either. I think Kyle Lowry and Mike Conley are very similar on the defensive end, but Lowry's better on the offensive end. Isaiah Thomas, although better offensive player, not as good on the defensive end. And then the likes of Drew Holiday, Eric Bledsoe, they're below Kyle Lowry. So Kyle Lowry should definitely be in the discussion for top 5 point guards in the NBA. And it just should be about, what do you prefer? Do you like a more defensive player in Kyle Lowry, or do you like more offense with John Wall and Kyrie Irving? But the point of this being is that Kyle Lowry is heavily underrated in this league. Although his playoff struggles, he should be considered and should be in many conversations for not only some of the best point guards in the NBA, but to be one of the best players in the NBA. Thank you guys for listening. Please like and subscribe, and see you guys again later.